Let's see. Yeah, let's do this. Imagine this. You're a friend of mine who hasn't seen me for quite a while. And then you're asking yourself, why the hell is this guy so hell-bent on making videos now? Is he crazy? I mean, his YouTube channel won't do anything for him in I don't know how many years to come. No matter what he tries, it won't work because he's never consistent, right? Well, you, my friend, let's just play a game. For me to tell you why I am so hell-bent on making videos again, and for you not to have any excuses of having misunderstood me because I used the wrong words and maybe made everything too complicated, I came prepared. I wrote it all down here, just for you, just for you. Okay. Now, my dear friend, you wanted to know why I am so hell-bent on making videos again, even though I had sworn off any kind of videography some 2 to 3 years ago, due to hardships in life and being smacked and whacked from left to right, and having lots of chances to step up my game, which I couldn't because, yeah, shit happens. To you, I would say, I had an epiphany some 40-50 minutes ago. And that epiphany has caused me to, let me say, it has been gradually been building itself up for the past months. And the enlightening moment, the moment of true clarity about how it all came to play out, giving me this result right now, happened just 40 to 50 minutes ago. So I wrote it all down and I'm going to read it to you. What is it about? Confronting myself, the greatest inner critic, source of my most negative thoughts, tendencies, and habits. The nurturing grounds for my mysteries and excuses of ways of holding myself back and procrastinating. Birthplace of my inner demons. Demons, kind of. Oh man, that's what I noticed, that the German language is really destroying my English. But anyway, who cares? Back to the topic. Seeing as we humans are built in one way or another almost the same, I came to the conclusion that our brains ought to also operate in a very similar manner, given the same base conditions. So as my brain is and tends to think, I figured that the issues I have would also logically apply to most of my fellow humans, as well as you, my friend, you that I'm talking to. That brings me to the point of 2 years ago, I started this channel and thought I was dedicated enough to make it thrive. Like a child of mine, I would raise this channel into something that would be very beautiful and of value. First of all to myself and then to others, of course. And I was on a good track, but it kind of never clicked. And the reason why is because of the following. I was mistaken. As life got calmer, putting me into a sneaky comfort zone with a steady income and lots of new experiences at work, a wife and a home, I started to give myself a break from pursuing my personal goals consistently. That was my issue. That was my major problem. Meaning, the more energy I diverted to being good at my job and satisfied with my work, ever-growing experience and contributions due to a better way of utilizing my skills, I became blind, completely losing sight of myself in the process. The individual I was, as in the person without my work, without my friends, without my family, without indoctrinations from society, trying to fit in, I lost touch of that child who used to see a world full of opportunities, chances to turn things around because I was so damn good at playing it safe, people pleasing, and helping other people make use of their potential and achieve their goals. In experience, my supervisors and my boss. The way that played out was me having very little energy and efforts left for my personal self. Going into nature was a great way to ground myself, but that was always only used as a last momentary decision for the most crucial moments. And when things were settled, I would just forget about nature again and fall back into the loop of trying to please everyone and be a good worker drone. Because income and stuff, bills have to be paid. Now, my channel in that same period of time was piling up with dust, cobwebs, until it turned from a dream to a nightmare that would remind me of my failure. Having had 2 to 3 years to deal with some really extreme hardships in life, I noticed that in the most extreme moments where I was actually dealing with some really not so good negative thoughts of forcefully initiating a reincarnation process, if you get my vibe. My view of what mattered in life drastically shifted and changed. At first, it felt like something that just happened by accident, a happenstance, a coincidence. But then I would forget about it and it happened again, and I would see that, okay, this is no longer a coincidence. There is really something here. So I decided to hold on to that feeling when it happened the last time, some few months ago. I noticed that my behavior tended to follow suit. And I realized that the real death was to let myself die from within, which was already happening, that had gotten me to that point. So I decided that ending myself was also the same as me not doing anything about my personal goals and dreams, and ending in me becoming just a husk, leading to a soulless life. A zombie. That would logically mean losing the connection, support to my soul, and having an endless list of regrets on the end of my days. I nowadays see 2 people lying on my deathbed in a time yet to come. One lived his life as best as he could, fully utilizing all the ideas from the soul, brimming with vitality. Made some mistakes, but in general had lots of fun, was there for the family, was able to distribute his time proportionally to the needs that life threw at him, and still found time to be himself. That guy was surrounded by his family and peers and friends, and he was really actually blissful in spite of being on the deathbed. And dearly loved, and people were feeling really, really sad because just a charismatic being that person was. The other one, worked hard, but never had time for himself and his heart. As in things that his heart was telling him to do, they were never followed through. And the heart and soul never came to be expressed in that manner, leading to an intense and gigantic heaviness. At its core, all regrets of not having lived as wished and desired were present. I literally do not want to be on that guy's deathbed. It's like having this kind of view where I see a fork and I see to the one side the first guy, and to the next side, the right side, the guy who did everything against his own soul, as in not listening to it, not following through with his heart's desires, not really trying to achieve his personal goals. That's a guy I really want to avoid turning into. His eyes are hollow and there is no inner light. Surrounded by family, he can only cry tears of spite for all the unnecessary, unhealthy sacrifice he made, thinking that it was the right decision back then. He cannot turn time back to make things right and start living life in a more fulfilled manner, because what's happened has already happened. That's it. Consequences have to be dealt with. That guy, in my eyes, when it comes to confronting my inner demons and, oh God, that word. When it comes to confronting my inner demons, yes, that guy is the greatest demon I have within me, and I see in a potential reality that could as well be my future if I had held on to the mentality I had some months ago before shifting back to a point of let's restart this whole life experience and do something meaningful with it. Leave some tracks and make it count. That's the new mentality I have. That's what I meant in the former video with having a new software that has changed everything around me, as well as my hardware and the way I hold myself. So, that guy, my greatest demon, follows me each day I awake, getting closer whenever I forget myself and lose my own personal goals out of sight. And yeah, I tend to focus on things that are too out there and have nothing to do with my personal desires. I have several other demons, but that one I respect the most because it keeps me on track. I want as little regrets as possible, with no spite or hatred on the end of my days. I hope you were able to follow me to this point. Now we're getting to the good part and soon ending this whole video. So that is how this channel comes into play, my YouTube channel that has been dormant for the past 2 years. I like this form of expression using video, and I am relearning to evoke the inner child who used to dream and wonder with no limitations. Because as a child, if you had experienced or if you had seen me as a child, I wasn't an easy child. I had lots of questions and I was very, very curious about each and everything, and I would find wonder in the simplest things and magic in the most stupid, foolish, dumb stuff. To me, it was like the whole world was Disneyland. So I want to get back to that guy, only with the fusion and perfect melding of my actual experiences that I have made till to this age, and putting that together in a perfect balance and harmony. I think that would be great, turning into that guy. So yeah. The trick is I will no longer be taking breaks or having excuses in regards to achieving my personal goals and desires. That's literally it. How will I do this? Those are the most dangerous traps, these breaks and excuses. that fertilize procrastination and the death from the inside. So now that I know about that fact and it is visible to me, just like some painting on a wall, I will do my best to avoid it. You know, we as humans, we are so good at imagining things. We are very creative. That can be both positive and very negative. I have decided to do it more to the positive side and leaning more to the positive side so that I get my mentality to get used to no longer thinking in a limited way or a limitation mentality. Yeah. Which means not making videos to get my message out is akin to not doing an assignment asked of me by my superior, which is a serious matter that could influence my salary or get me fired. Only that this time when it comes to my personal goals and desires, my superior is my soul and my boss, and my supervisor is my heart. And those guys keep me on track while showing me what could happen if everything goes in the right direction and what could happen if everything goes in the wrong direction. And it is my duty to see to it that whichever direction I take, I will be happy about living and dealing with the consequences. So of course, I want it to be positive, and I want to be that guy who has a very light heart on the end of his days. Which means when it comes to the tasks assigned to me at work, I just do them without having any hard feelings. I'm very professional when it comes to carrying out things that have been assigned to me. So I decided to take that kind of mentality and use it for my own personal goals. In that way, I will not feel guilty for neglecting anything in my life, as long as I know I have done my best to distribute my time and energy in a way that my heart and soul would be satisfied from now on to the next coming years in life, leading to, optimistically and ideally, no regrets on my deathbed. I'll just have to do it, and I'll have to have lots of discipline. I will take it as official assignments from my soul and my heart. I'll see myself as an agent and some kind of like 007 super guy who is trying to make things work for the organization of heart and soul, and creating things that bring me joy and are of value to me, which means a younger version of myself that is not yet at the point I have reached right now will also find value in those same exact things. I'm looking in this direction because when I'm thinking, I just tend to let my eyes roll, and I'm sorry for that. It might be looking weird, but yeah, that's just me. Yeah, that is actually the gist of things that has led me to returning to YouTube and taking it a bit more seriously than I used to before, at least more than the past 2 years. And this has also led to this video, me recording myself right now, being back again, as promised, for the second time in this week. And I think that's something I can rejoice and be happy about. And yeah, I actually don't know how long this mentality will carry me on, but I have lots of discipline to spare, and I just hope that it can help you get over some demons, some inner demons you have had with you for the past few days, weeks, months, or maybe even years, just like me. We're all just trying to figure this thing called life out, and I am not at all as far as I wish to be, because in my mind, To master life, I feel like you have to be a sage, living in a human body, and still young, but with the experience of some super old soul. I see myself like that at times, but only for things that really interest me, like manga, art, and maybe a little bit of philosophy. But this thing called life, I think it's very crucial to follow one's own goals and desires, pursue them to as best as you can, and then see where it takes you. Now, we'll all one day have to face those inner demons, so I decided for myself, and I'm giving this as a piece of advice to you, why not start right now, in this moment, because you have nothing to lose. That will be all from me, and yeah, thanks for listening. Tune in for the next video, like and subscribe, and yeah, have fun.